Hello, welcome to my videos on my blog. In this time, I'm going to talk about the Steelers loss against the Chicago Bears 31-28 today on NFL 2025 season, week 12. Well, today the Steelers travel to Chicago where they face the Chicago Bears, and unfortunately, the Steelers lost against the Bears by 3 point difference, 31 by 28. Well, before this game, a few minutes or hours before this game, it was announced that Aaron Rodgers didn't play this game because remember that he got injured in the last week when the Steelers defeated the Bengals in the week 11, and remember that Aaron Rodgers didn't play the second half, so it was an important. It was a very important that it was important or it was a bad news because Aaron Rodgers didn't play this game, and I think that because Aaron Rodgers is the starting quarterback, it was this was one of the reasons why the Steelers didn't win this game. But to be honest, I think that the Steelers didn't play a bad game, especially the offense side because they scored 28 points. About the defense, they didn't play a great game, but they made impact plays. But what happened? The Steelers most of the time in this kind of game it was a close game where this game was defined for the tiles, and unfortunately the Steelers couldn't get the victory. Also, I think that the big difference was the turnovers. The Bears provoked two turnovers for the Steelers, and they scored 14 points, and the Steelers provoked two interception by the Bears, and the Steelers only could get 7 points. So I think that this was the big difference to lose that game. And about the Steelers, I think that the Steelers play a better first half where they were leading the game 21-17, and they were better. But what happened in the second half? I think that is when the Steelers didn't play a great game, especially the third quarter where Steelers were scoreless. The Steelers scored only a touchdown in the second half. They allowed 14 points, and even that the Steelers had the opportunity to win this game because they had two times the possession in the last quarter. They had the possibility to win this game. Minimum they needed to move the ball enough to score it or try a field goal, but they couldn't do that. The Bear defenses stopped the Steelers, and unfortunately the Steelers lost the game 31 by 28. How I told you, I think that it wasn't a bad game, but in the end, the most time the games are defined for the tiles, and unfortunately, the Steelers couldn't get the victory. So with this loss, it was a very hurtful loss. The Steelers lost his fifth game of the season. They fell to a 6-5 record. Unfortunately, now the Steelers lost the first play in the AFC North, and the Chicago Bears won his 8th game of the season, and they improved to a 8-3 record. So about the overall statistics, the Steelers had a 345 total yards. It was a good game. They threw by 159 by pass, and they made 186 by run. So it was a great game. About the defense accepted 328 total yards, 229 by pass, and 99 by run. So what was the big difference in my opinion? The big difference were the turnovers because the Steelers had two turnovers. The Bears scored 14 points from these turnovers, and the Steelers provoked two turnovers for the Bears. The Steelers only scored one touchdown, and that was the big difference. So, how I told you, unfortunately, the Steelers with a loss, they fell to a second place in the AFC North with a 6-5 record. Now today, the Ravens visited the Jets where they didn't have any problem. No, sorry, they received the New York Nets and they didn't have any problem and won that game 23-10. Thanks to this victory and the Steelers loss, the Ravens improved to a 6-5 record, the same record as the Steelers, but because they have a better differences, that now the Ravens are leading the division. They have a 5 winning streak, and it looks now very difficult that the Steelers can win the division because the Steelers will have to defeat the Ravens in both games. And unfortunately, with this loss, the Steelers in this moment are out of the playoffs. So now the season is completing a lot because the most probably is that the Steelers can be out of the playoffs because in this moment the Steelers are out. So What's next? The Steelers, the next week, the Steelers, with the next Sunday, November 30, the Steelers, in the week 13, they will receive the Buffalo Bills. This game is going to be played the next Sunday, how I told you, November 30, in the Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, at 16:25 Eastern Time. Remember that the last Thursday in the beginning of the week 13, the Buffalo Bills traveled to Houston, and they were upset by the Houston Texans 23-19. In this moment, the Buffalo Bills are in the second place in the AFC East with a 7-4 record, and in this moment the Bills are in the wild card zone. So it's going to be an interesting game. I think that the Bills are a better team than the Steelers. I hope that the Aaron Rodgers can play this game, because to be honest, without him, the Steelers has a possibility to win this game. So it's going to be an interesting game. But I think that because the Bills are a better team, they have Josh Allen, and because they will have 10 days to prepare this game, I think that the Steelers will lose this game by 7 or 10 point difference, and unfortunately the Steelers will fall to a 500 record, and the Steelers will far away to qualify to the playoff. So I hope you like this video, and if you have any comment or suggestion, you can write me on the social media platform. So see you next video. Junior.